KATOPANISHAD. It starts with a Shanti Pada or Shanti Mantra, which is very famous. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tvejasina Vathidamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There are so many Pandits who believe that KATOPANISHAD is the most important one among all the Indian Upanishads. It is very famous because it tells the story of a young boy called Nachiketas, who is the embodiment of inquisitiveness or curiosity about life and afterlife. I have written a poem on Nachiketas that has been included in the 50 love poems, and in the second part of KATOPANISHAD, I would like to read this poem to you because that narrates the story of Nachiketas very well. But here I would like to give you an idea about this very, very important Upanishad. Nachiketas is a young boy, but the question that he poses before Yama, god of death, is the most important one that we face in our life. It's a long story, but it starts like the boy's presence before his father when Uddalaga, that is his father, when he conducts a Vishwajit Yaga. In this Yaga, the one who does this sacrifice, he is supposed to offer everything that is best in life to God. But the boy finds that his father, Uddalaga, is offering all kinds of lame cows and all unwanted things as offerings. So the boy could not tolerate this, and he goes and asks his father, Father, whom are you going to offer me? And he was so furious, and he says, I will offer you to Yaman, or the god of death. And this boy accepts this as a challenge, and he goes to meet the god of death. There we find the most interesting dialogue between these two, and it gives us very, very deep philosophy about afterlife and about our vocation, about the meaning of life, and so on. And at one point, God Yama teaches him Agni Vidya also. When we think of all these ancient writings, Vedas and Upanishads are supposed to be elite. Only erudite persons or Pandits can understand all these. But we have so many Puranas also. And one among the important Puranas is Agni Purana. As God Yama teaches Nachiketas Agni Vidya, we find the Agni Vidya discussed in the Agni Purana also. Agni Purana has about 15,500 verses. So when we simply say Agni Vidya, it's not just something which is silly. All these contain very deep ideas related to life and afterlife. And here, in stanza 17, God Yama prescribes the threefold path of tapam, dhanam, and yajna, which enables one to attain heaven. This is very interesting because in Upanishads we have seen the threefold path there also. That was tapas, indriya damanam, and duties related to yajna. Here in KATOPANISHADs we find another version of this threefold path to salvation, that is tapam, dhanam, yajna. When we consider all the major religions, especially Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam, these three aspects come again and again, or they are the underlying philosophical currents in these three major religions. When we say Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam, we are speaking about 400 crores of people among 600 crores of the total population of the world. In Hinduism, tapam, dhanam, yajnam. Tapam is deep contemplation, dhanam is giving, and yajnam means sacrifices, offerings. And you consider the teachings of Christ, and there, of course, there is the importance of meditation, prayer. Jesus taught his disciples to pray, and also he asked everyone to love their neighbors as themselves. So that is the noblest of sacrifices, and offerings also. In the Old Testament time onwards, we see this. What about when we think about the basic philosophy of Islam? Tapam, prayer, of course, deep contemplation, that is deep faith in Allah, and then zakat, dhanam, and then comes pilgrimages and all other aspects. So the basic undercurrents of all the major religions, they are deep faith in God, deep contemplation to approach heaven, or the deep meditative aspects which tells the real spiritual nature of one, and also about offerings and sacrifice and all these. So KATOPANISHAD also stresses these three important aspects of life. And in the second part, we will come to the real story of Nachiketas and his discussions with none other than God Yama, or the god of death himself, to understand the real nature of life and death.